my eye. Through the mist, my surprise shone light from distant northern skies. At that point, I realized I don't know where it comes from, but I know it's okay. If this is all an illusion, then I'm willing to play.
Welcome to the Quantum Guide Show, interviews with awakened masters as they share their quantum work with you. The Quantum Guide Show is produced by Karen Holton, creator of the 9 Steps to Quantum Health Transformation, a free 9-step online course to give you the tips and resources you need to thrive. Karen lost and continues to keep off 178 pounds of surplus body weight as she made her dreams come true. Whether you are awakening to the ascension process or simply want a wiser, more efficient lifestyle, this program is for you. No strings attached. The Quantum Guide Show is brought to you in part by Zendome's Orgonite, Karen's unique brand of orgone generators, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. Find out how orgone generators work and what they can do for you. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out Karen's current selection, only available from her website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Quantum Health Transformation. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Quantum Guide Show. Today in episode 73, I am pleased to introduce you to Susan Walter. Susan is an intuitive visionary artist. After some near-death experiences as a child, Susan was given the ability to see into the angelic realms, allowing her to see the angels in their pure light form. She uses this ability to draw commissioned angelic portraits and to relay messages and insights from your angels. Susan is also the artist, author of the Solfeggio Mandela Activation Guides and Meditation Decks, assisting us to realign with our original blueprint. She also creates healing art with a conscious heart from her visions during meditation. This is her way of connecting with the divine and to assist humanity to do the same, and to recognize the divine within ourselves and each other. Your angel is waiting to talk to you. You can find Susan Walter at her website, www.susanwalterart.com, and the link is below. Thank you so much for sharing. Susan, welcome so much. Welcome to the Quantum Guide Show. How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to meet you.
I'm so glad. I thought today we could start off with a little bit about your background. So as I mentioned, you had those near-death experiences when you were a child, and this opened you up to seeing into the angelic realms. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I had 2 near-death experiences. First one at the age of 4, and the second one at the age of 6. But the most important thing that I think affected my life and continues to every single day is that, I was introduced to 3 of my own personal angels during that experience. And afterwards, I was just able to see them all the time. But it wasn't until 1997 that I realized I wasn't just seeing my own anymore. I was seeing everybody else's. And the first thing I did was sit down in meditation to figure out, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? Why me? All those type of questions I think any of us would ask. And they were very adamant that I start, finding a way to put them down on paper or canvas to either draw or paint them. And to be honest, I argued for about 6 months. Because I wasn't in the least bit busy with the fact that I had 2 teenage sons and 2 toddlers. Yeah, and one other minor detail, I really didn't know how to portray I didn't know how to draw or paint. So they've taught me. So it's
Wow.
been an evolving process over the years. Um, and the skills have, improved, and they're still evolving and still changing.
Mm-hmm. So the work you've got displayed behind you is work that you've done. And I have some images that I'm going to embed in the video before I post it to YouTube, because they're absolutely beautiful. And you can feel, at least I can feel, the love that comes from the images that I've seen so far. I just want to let you know that I can totally validate your experience. I myself have had an angelic experience. Mine was basically a one-time, which was also visual and auditory. But since then, they're with me always. I don't see them anymore, but I definitely feel the connection. And so I don't think it's that unusual that people are able to contact their angels. In fact, tell me what you think of this. My angels tell me that all people have to do is ask. Just ask for them to come into your life. Can you speak to that, Susan?
They need permission to be to help us with many things. So by asking, that's giving permission. But everybody has at least 3. And the more work you have to do, I guess would be one way to put it, the more angels you have with you. Like I'm sure you have, I've seen considerably more than 3 with you. The only time they would ever consider leaving your side is sometimes one might go ahead of you in your day to make sure things happen or don't happen in your best and highest good. Sometimes one might stay at home. But you can also ask your angels to check on those that you care about, and even to get, have your angels talk to their angels to give them messages that maybe they need to hear, but they don't necessarily want to hear it from you, or they're maybe not ready at that particular moment, so that they'll arrange that they get that message in divine timing.
Oh, wonderful. Really wonderful. Yes, I absolutely agree. It's because beings don't interfere with our free will, and they need our permission. And but so many people, they go through life struggling, and it doesn't occur to them to call on their angels and their guides or their higher self even. And that's a free gift. I think in the Bible talks about Holy Spirit, and I think that's one of the gifts of the Holy Spirit, is having those resources available to us. And I think today there's a shift where people are moving from external sources of assistance and knowledge and wisdom, and they're moving to internal. And for me, that is definitely how I experience their wisdom and their guidance in my own life. So I'm wondering if you can talk a bit about angels, and what are they, and what's the angelic realm, and what can you tell the viewers more about that?
Well, it's really they are interdimensional beings that just function in a different frequency than we do. Some people refer to them as dimensions. I think of them more as frequency, and a lot of people use the term higher, lower. I really think faster, slower is more accurate, because that higher, lower insinuates that something is better than something else, and I don't believe that that's true. We agreed to come here to have these experiences in the physical form. Sometimes we can regret that that decision, but and I think one of the most important things that people need to understand about their angels really is that they are here, because we sat down with them before we take physical form, before we take on these gloves, these bodies. And we lay out a plan of things we want to experience and lessons that we want to learn. And their main purpose is to help us and keep us on that path to learn those lessons and to have those experiences. And each time they give us an opportunity to say, learn a lesson, it gets more difficult each time. Until sometimes we feel like we get that clue by 4 upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
And the lessons aren't always easy ones.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's for sure. But I find it's the more difficult lessons that are the most rewarding.
Oh, definitely. I agree with that 100%. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting that you referred to them and us as being fast or slow. That's how I perceive them as well. I perceive all of us in the 3-dimensional reality as being very slow moving energetically beings, whereas the higher dimensions or faster dimensions, as you call them, they are here, but they're moving in either a slightly different frequency, but definitely a faster frequency than what we experience. So I thought that was a really good way to put it, because it's not really about any frequency being better than any other. I think you'd agree with me. We're here for soul evolution and to learn. And but I definitely feel the energy is definitely not just a faster speed of existence, but a lot faster speed of
Yeah.
existence. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and I think part of that is because they exist in a place outside of time. We've chosen to slow ourselves down enough to experience and to create what we call time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with you. Even the mathematical equation E = mc squared is energy equals, mass that's sped up. And so when you slow that energy down, it fits into the physical realm that we experience. And since we're talking about frequencies, I'm wondering if you want to speak to the solfeggio frequencies. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I always pronounce it solfeggio, but I don't know. Maybe there's a better way.
I've heard it pronounced many different ways, and
Okay.
I don't think any of us can say the pronunciation is right or wrong, because I think it's a word that is so ancient and been used by so many different cultures and languages that, yeah, I don't think there's a right or a wrong way at this point. The frequencies, briefly what they are is they are all 3-digit numbers. They always add up to 3, 6, or 9. And all this is based on Pythagorean math, or at least goes back at least that far, which puts it somewhere in ancient Greece, but I think it's far older. From my studies that I believe these frequencies were definitely used for healing purposes in ancient Egypt, and then probably even much older than that. Yeah, especially if the stories that are in the Native American and India and places talking about our world, our universe being sung into existence are true, which I believe they are. And these are the frequencies that we used. Even NASA, when they go out into space, they have recorded the frequencies or put off by each of the different spheres, the different planets, the moons, the sun. They all end up being solfeggio frequencies. Our own sun puts off one of the earthly solfeggio frequencies, frequency 528. This is the frequency not only of divine love, but it also helps with DNA healing. So healing at the DNA level. So they can help us reactivate and reawaken those strands of DNA that we have forgotten how to use.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the strands that the scientists call junk DNA might even be the most important
Yes.
part of our DNA to elevate us, help us to communicate with other realms. There's so much going on. Just because science doesn't believe in it doesn't mean that it's not happening. I'm very attracted to the Cephalgio frequencies, and it always amazes me how there's such perfect correspondences. Like, for instance, you mentioned the different planets, but also the colors, the chakra system, music. It's like everything that is boiled down to energy seems to be here for our benefit, for our healing, to bring peace and love to this planet. And I'm wondering if you just want to say a little bit more about these frequencies from your perspective.
Yeah, I think, and it's not only that these were based on Pythagorean math, but one of the other quotes that many of us hear from at different times is from Nikola Tesla. He said, if we understood 3, 6, and 9, we would understand the universe. Yeah, and it's, I've also, in continuing in my research, I have found that there's actually 9 sets of 9 frequencies. So a total of 81 frequencies called solfeggios, but there's also some tones often referred to as whole tones. And now these, they don't fall within the Pythagorean math, but they still all add up to the 3, 6, or 9. And they also still have healing properties. Yeah, so each frequency can help with different things, whether it be mentally, physically, or emotionally. But I think some of these other whole tones will even help us go outside of our tiny little solar system. Even the Milky Way is only a speck of the creation, created by the divine. But
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and one of the other things that and I wish I could remember where I heard this, that I thought was totally fascinating. And I believe this was channeled material, but they spoke about how these frequencies are also even what's used to not only map the universe, that this is the frequencies they're used as like a guide or a map even to travel among the stars. That that's what the different entities use, the frequencies.
Oh, I believe that very much as well. And the Jewish religion or religions, I'm not sure, going way back, originally their name for God meant a creative expression, a sound that created our universe. And we find that in many religions and spiritual beliefs that go way back in history. Now, I'm wondering how, I notice you have behind you a picture that corresponds to the chakra system. Do you want to speak a little bit about how the chakra system is tied into frequencies?
I think they are, there's a lot of debate on this. They could be, I think they're a type of almost a generator is, I think, the closest word I've been able to come to within the English language to fully understand them. But they're a toroidal field that functions within the body, which even the magnetic system of our own Earth is a toroidal field. All living beings, not just beings, even plants, even trees, have these toroidal fields surrounding their energy field. And I think that's what, our whole chakra system, each little chakra looks like that toroidal field. And then there's a massive, that surrounds the entire body that once, I think that's part of what we're here to experience and help to connect and reconnect to the divine. This is a tool that can be used to do that with. Once you get the chakras all spinning in the same direction, which, whether they're spinning what you would consider clockwise or counterclockwise, I don't think either is right or wrong. It's just, as long as they're all moving in the same direction at the same speed, and that they're about the same size. Because an underactive chakra is going to be too small, overactive is going to be too large. And they can also kind of get like out of, because if they're that toroidal field, for those that don't know that, it's kind of shaped like a donut. With energy spinning around through that. But you also want, when one even gets, tilted out of balance, it could take, and once you get the chakras fully aligned and all functioning together, that's when the etheric tube that can go up through the body to create what's called the Kundalini experience, which can be a very powerful experience connecting you to the divine and to bliss is the only word I can think of, and the experience with it, the brief experiences I've had myself.
I would agree with you 100%. For the longest time, I had to keep working on my root chakra. My root chakra was very weak, and I'm not sure whether you see it as a system that works from the bottom up. But for me, it seemed that as long as my root chakra was not functioning properly, all my other chakras weren't supplying me with the gifts that come from having them open and active. So I worked for the longest time, and then I started working on the sacral chakras. And I use color therapy. I mean, the beauty of energy healing is it does no harm. And there's so many different kinds of energy healing. Because it does no harm, we can just gravitate to what we want. So surprise to me this spring is my solar plexus, or yellow chakra, was kind of calling out. And I started eating wild dandelions, because that was just the intuitive direction that I was receiving. And I actually found just the heads, they're actually quite pleasant tasting. They're quite mild. I also dehydrate them and make tea out of them, but I just feel like I'm really benefiting. And then every once in a while, one of my other chakras will kind of speak to me on what I need. And I can do it. I can strengthen them through, like I said, eating dandelions was one, but I mean through foods. Pigmented foods are correspondent. Color therapy, I just got the urge to wear more yellow, and I was wearing more yellow. And it's really interesting how we have this natural ability to know what's best for us and what we really need. And I by no stretch of the imagination have perfected all of this. It's always a work in progress for me. But what comes along with it is also emotional release, trauma release, and working on fixing or correcting intergenerational dysfunction, so that the problems I had between myself and my siblings, or between myself and my parents, well, they've passed now, but or my relationships with my offspring have changed beyond what I ever would have realized was possible, so that I have such a high degree of peace and harmony in my life. And I believe this came from, and I use music too, and of course, the Cephalgio frequencies. There's some lovely stuff on YouTube. I want to ask you, now I've heard that YouTube will actually somehow, I don't know what the right way of putting this is, but what YouTube does is they actually alter the structure of the music to make it more compact. And I'm wondering if you feel that's true, or whether we actually need to like buy CDs or download the Cephalgio frequencies and then use headphones. Like, what's your take on the best way to access them and the easiest way to access them?
I agree that I think YouTube is altering and definitely compressing the files, that I think takes away some of the energy from it. But yeah, intent is huge. If you can possibly, CDs, I think it depends on the source, and the musician. So be paying attention to what type of, if they're tuning their instruments to 432 or 440, I think that makes a huge difference.
Mhm.
Because 432 is one of the other solfeggio frequencies, but I think, if you're going to get music from CDs, depending on what the instruments are, I would definitely use headphones,
Mhm.
as I think it's going to put you experience closer to what the musician intended.
Mhm.
But I think live is going to be way better. If you're not able to find somebody in your area that's working with solfeggio frequencies, there's crystal singing bowls that you can
Yes.
find. There's tuning forks that you can find. And also, the activation guides and meditation decks that I've created, because I've created a mandala based on each and every one of those 81 solfeggio frequencies. So that's just another way to work with them.
Can you
Yeah.
tell us more about your activation guides and your meditation decks?
The activation guides are essentially a coloring book, but they're, with when the mandala and the information about what that frequency can help you with. So it's a type of meditation to actually take the time to color those.
Mhm.
The meditation decks, actually I have the ones that I work with are sitting right here. So they're actually physical cards.
Oh, beautiful. Very
And
nice.
I'll use these in a number of ways. One of my favorite is to set them under a glass of water
Yes, to
and charge
restructure the
them. Uh-huh,
Mm.
exactly. I've also done that with herbs, essential oils. I've put them under my dinner plate.
Mhm.
I've put them in my pillow at night. I have found I would definitely suggest not using more than 2 in your pillow at night. Otherwise, it may affect your sleep.
Mhm.
I'll also put them under like a massage table while doing energy work with people. I wouldn't suggest using more than 3 with that, especially
Mm.
somebody that's just being introduced to the solfeggio frequencies.
Right.
But yeah, they're just, and I'm sure there are other ways that, we can come up with. I know somebody that bought a set of the cards and had them laminated and uses them in coasters.
Mhm. Oh, absolutely. Do you have more that you want to show us?
Sure. And I've started playing around with, and I haven't, done all 81 of them. A few of them I have in stickers, and I've even done a couple on coasters now.
Oh, yeah, coasters are a great idea. I've even used similar products, not the same. I actually have my own line of orgone generators, and I had my friend who makes them
Oh,
for me make me discs. They're about 50 millimeters across, and they have symbols and they have crystals. And I use them also for healing plants, or when I'm transplanting plants, putting them nearby, that works. But definitely they not just the orgone generators, but everything you're showing us and talking about,
mhm,
has such an amazing effect. It increases the bioavailability of your food
mhm.
and helps foods last longer. You can put one under your fruit bowl. And I'm now speaking about your cards and your coasters. There's so many ways to use them. And sometimes I think people might even just want to place them on their body
Yeah,
to
I place them. That's another thing I do, place them on my body during meditation.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll sit on one, put them underneath my meditation pillow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. I'm sitting on a hematite orgone generator because
Mhm,
I find being on the computer, I don't know if it's emitted from the mechanical part of the computer or the Wi-Fi or what, but it helps me to not be as exhausted after being on the computer. So so basically, yeah, tell us more about how people can use the things that you have created. So they're not only beautiful, they're also another method of energy healing. So what
Yeah.
would you recommend to people? So they can go to your website, I understand, and I'm guessing they can they order the cards as well as the coasters?
Yes, they can. And I've actually, from the pushing of a friend of mine, I've even started doing what I call soul growth readings with the cards. So it's more about the journey of your soul, where you're going, and how to evolve things you can do more, to progress more quickly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we all get stuck once in a while. I
Yes,
also
we
have
do.
found from time to time, it's almost like my angelic guides go silent on me, and I
Mhm.
feel spiritually dry for a period of time. Then I will rely more on energy producing devices. But when they come back, I say, "Where were you?" And they said, "Well, we've taught you a lot, but now it's time you need to practice without
Mhm.
our presence." And make it your own. And so I've gone through my life with intense contact, and then that just feeling like I'm abandoned almost. But then now I know it's time for me to practice on my own before, the next level. So
Yes.
so you do that, and you also if I was somebody and I contacted you through your website and I wanted to get more in touch with my angelic guides, you can facilitate that. Is that correct?
Yes. So that's the very first thing I started doing in my journey was the angel portraits.
Mm-hmm.
Those do take about an hour. Because I actually set you with you either in person or via Zoom. And while we chat and any messages that I relay, any messages that come through, I'm actually working on the drawing then.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have had, just as an insurance policy, because things have been, kind of unusual in the debacle the last couple of years. I take
Mm-hmm.
a photo and email that to you. And then I package it up and put it in the mail.
Oh, so you actually do mail out the art that
Yes.
you've done on
Yeah.
their behalf.
Uh-huh. Yes. Because it's not for me, it's for you.
What
Yeah, and
wonderful.
they kind of work, and it's like getting the portrait drawn is just the beginning. They work almost, I've had a number of people use the word portal. So we've
So they
had some.
facilitate contact.
Yes, a number of people have started, getting, much more, a lot more messages from their angels than they ever have before. Definitely talking to them more, because I suggest putting the portrait someplace where you'd see it every day, even if it's just in the
Yes.
hallway that you walk past it every day. So that, there is. And I don't know if you really noticed, but almost every drawing that I've done of the angels, their arms are outstretched. It's because they're ready to exchange or embrace whenever you need that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. You know what I'm going to do, if it's okay with you? We got a few minutes. Why don't I screen share the images that you sent to me, and then you can
Okay,
tell us more about the individual images. Are you comfortable with that?
sure.
Okay, great. I'll just take a second. Just go to screen share here. There we go. Got it in your little file there. Oh, I guess I have to open them. Hang on. Sorry. Let's start with this one. I love this one. Okay, now we'll go to screen share. There we are. Yes, let's take a look at this one. It's so beautiful. I am so impressed by this image. I love the way that you've got I believe they're called the platonic solids, the different shapes. That's all from math and
Yeah,
I
this is
guess geometry. What can you
this is
tell us about this
self-phase.
image?
That's Solfeggio frequency 765. That is for those that are planetary caretakers. Yeah, that is the main reason that humans were actually put on this planet, was to care for Mother Gaia and to assist the planet in her growth as well, so that we could learn as much from her as she learns from us.
Mhm.
Obviously, I think about the last probably about 150, 200 years, I don't think we have done the greatest job, but
Mhm.
there's been other ancient civilizations, that have been long since forgotten about, where we did work with Mother Earth, and
Mhm.
in a much better way than we do at this time. But I think we're starting to relearn how to do that again slowly.
I would totally agree with you. Things got really out of whack, and now they're coming back to where we're realizing we need to live in harmony with all the other species we share this space with, and we should be stewards. We can
Yes.
live in perfect harmony. We can be of benefit and help. There's so many things that we can be doing, but we sort of left all of that because we were convinced by the powers that be that the science and the very left brain way of being, the very logic, was the superior way of being. But I think now we're realizing, I gotta say, the last 3 years has really been a perfect opening up point to help people to awaken and to assess how they've been living their lives, and do they want to continue with that, or would they like to see some changes. So I think there's quite a lot going on. Let's just take a look at another image here.
And
Here's
like I say,
another
that
one.
is one of my favorite ones too.
So this is very beautiful, and I noticed that your artwork, it just resonates, but it's also gentle. There's nothing startling or scary about it. It's just very
Oh.
soothing. Soothing is the word that I would use. And so what can you tell us about this image?
It is one of the mandalas. It's here to help us realign with the planet so that we will step into that role of being the planetary caretaker.
Wonderful. I just love the way you've got the balance between the yellows and the violets and purples. I just am so impressed with the work that you do.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, makes me feel good. Now let's take a look at an angel. What does this one represent?
Mm. I'm not seeing a change yet.
Oh, it didn't come through?
No, it didn't come through.
Okay, let me stop sharing and reshare, and hopefully this time it will come through. Sorry about that. I am not the most technical person in the world.
It's hard to keep up.
There it is. Yeah. How about now? Are you able to see it now?
Yes, that
Okay.
is Gaia in angelic form.
Mhm.
And just Gaia is not Gaia is an office or a position. Even the entity that we have known as Gaia for the last probably 4,000 or 5,000 years at least,
Mhm.
actually even recently changed. This was given to me when that one particular an entity was still with us, though she has left at this moment. I say she, but actually
Mhm.
androgynous, as we truly are at a soul level. But and we've had 3 entities recently take her place, and this is something that's been gradually happening since I think around 2018.
Mhm.
Where the entity we knew as Gaia has slowly transitioned out, and the 3 new entities come in. She needed a time to heal.
Mhm. Well, we have put her through rather a lot.
Yes, we have. Yeah, and
I also,
from my
sorry, go ahead.
understanding and what I've been taught by the angels is it is common for the entities to change through different cycles.
Mm-hmm.
And I think our solar system's great years considered to be just less than 26,000 years. So I think it definitely at that mark is, it changes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as we know, many of us know, we are going through that change right now.
Mm-hmm. So the other three entities, I'm assuming they work in harmony, and each one sort of has a strength that they bring to the earth. Is that correct?
Yes, it is definitely. Yeah, I wish and they probably will never give names. They will just fall under the still fall under the office of Gaia.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Now I'm wondering if you're able to see this image with the red heart. Is that coming up for you?
No, it's not, but I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so yeah, you know which images you sent. So the
Yeah.
one I have up now, it's almost like rainbow colored.
Mhm. Yeah,
And it's got this beautiful red heart with and she has a like dark blue face.
and that is Archangel Haniel, which is probably not one a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah, I'm not really
Um,
familiar.
and I'm trying to remember myself. One of the main things that angel can help bring into your life is joy, love without condition.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of why so many colors were used in
Mm-hmm.
with that particular angel as it portrayed itself to me, is one of the reasons there are so many out there, from the LGBT community, however many
Right.
phrases that is now, but for us to accept these people with unconditional love and to open an understanding that, so I think one of the things that we have forgotten is the creator doesn't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
We all are created and embodied in these different ways for a reason. And I think part of it is because we have forgotten, to love without condition and to be more accepting.
Mm-hmm.
We can't, if you want to change something in the world, start with yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Become the change we want to see in the
Yes.
world. Absolutely. That's one of my mantras. And it's actually my goal in life. And so because I take an internal approach rather than an external approach. So the internal approach means getting in touch with my inner guru, getting in touch with my higher self, getting in touch with my guides, my angels, and then becoming a more loving and unconditional person. Because how can we hate or despise our fellow human beings? That just doesn't feel right. It doesn't sound right. Plus, it doesn't do anything positive for bringing us back to what I call the new positive timeline.
Right.
So that's a really, really beautiful, a beautiful image and a timely reminder. Now I have one more image here, and if you're not able to see it, what I will do is I will stop the share and then reshare. How's that?
Okay.
So that it comes up for you. Yeah, this is it says Melchizedek. Are you able to see this now, Susan?
Yes.
Okay. What can you tell us about this angel?
That is actually more of a group of angels.
Yeah.
They're often have assisted high priests in different faiths throughout time,
Mm-hmm.
to help bring true knowledge and understanding.
Mm-hmm. And I notice you are those little Ankh symbols on either side?
Yes, they are, which I think have always thought of as being kind of a symbolic image for both the male and female genitalia.
Right, right. Because in perfect balance,
Mm-hmm.
both would be present.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'm sure your website has all kinds of images that people can look through and, you know, just enjoy going through and being influenced. Just looking at them has an influence in my experience. Would you agree with that?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I'm going to show you one that I have here sitting here on my desk.
Oh, beautiful.
This is actually kind of the feminine side or the archaea side of Archangel Sandalphon. And the reason I wanted to show you this one is something that I've been seeing now for it's about the last 3 years with people's angel portraits. Down the center, you see that light language starting at the
Yes.
throat. I've been seeing that with, and now at first it started just some of the angel portraits at first 3 years ago, but now it's all of them. And that's a message from your angels to your higher self. So it's not necessarily something you need to consciously understand what it means, but your higher self, the moment they see it, they have received the message.
Right,
So,
right.
yeah, that is one of the ways this has continued to change and evolve for me as well.
You know, it's interesting that the language that you have down the center also reminds me of some of the symbols that people claim to have seen on what I would, well, just loosely call UFOs. Have you seen any connection between the angelic realms and possible off-world beings?
To be honest, I can't say one way or the other at this point on that. I have gone back and forth on that one. And I think, when you're living in the bubble, it's hard to see the whole picture. And I think that's kind of where we're at the moment. And as we continue to study and grow and learn, I think many of those questions will be answered and our understandings will evolve with that.
Yeah, and it's a really personal thing too. I've had both angelic and extraterrestrial experiences, and although they're the way I've experienced, the way I'm interpreting my perceptions of those experiences are a little different. But the main theme is the same. The harmony is there. All the all the messages that I get are always harmonized. I've never had any conflicting stuff. And so that says to me that what I'm perceiving is definitely of my benefit. So as usual with this show, we're quickly running out of time. I'm wondering if you want to share with the viewers anything else, and also basically a message. Do you have anything you want to tell people that might inspire them, give them hope? What do you have to say about that?
Oh, I think one of the most important things we can be doing right now is self-care. And please be taking the time for meditation, even if you only take 5-10 minutes a day. It'd be more important than you do it about the same time every day, because that's what kind of helps train the brain to know, okay, this is my time. Yeah, and some deep breathing with, being part of that. Just deep breathing, oxygenating the body helps bring the body not only to balance, but it can also make the body more alkaline. And it is hard. Disease and illness cannot survive in a body that is alkaline.
I would agree with you. And sometimes self-care can be combined with meditation. I love to take a hot bath with lots of Epsom salts and sea salt, usually Himalayan. sea salt, depending. Sometimes I want the water more alkaline, I add baking soda. Otherwise, I want it more acidic, and I might add apple cider vinegar. And when I'm in that heat and with all those amazing minerals, I feel very grounded, but I also feel like a battery that's got a much higher frequency. And in the bath also, we're connected to the plumbing, which is grounded to the earth. And so, like, I live in Alberta, Canada. It gets incredibly cold here for months and months at a time. There's just no way I'm going to go dig a hole in the snow and put my feet in the grass. But I can have the hot bath with all the salts and everything, grounds me to the plumbing, grounds me to the earth. It's kind of my cheater way of doing it. Yeah.
I know, I love the Epsom salt and baking soda, and I'll sometimes add different essential oils. Or
Yes.
sometimes I'll even, with a little cheesecloth, put some herbs into some cheesecloth and soak with that as well.
Oh,
So
I agree. I like to put rosemary, and I call it Karen soup, because and it depends. Like I want to tell people too, don't overdo it. Don't add herbs and essential oils and a bunch of other things. Kind of try
yeah.
to keep it simple. But yes, absolutely. And we can also add what we might consider spices like sandalwood to the water as well. Anyway, I always encourage people, self-care seems to be important. The way I see it, which please feel free to disagree, is like our body is the temple, and we want to ground the energy into the temple. And then we're walking not just as ordinary human beings, but we're actually connected to our higher or faster selves and other resources, and we become much more than what we originally thought we were. I don't know if that makes sense to you, Susan.
Yeah, I think we are all much more than we think we are.
I agree.
Are much more powerful and have many more abilities.
And we all have them, right? It's not just for special few.
It's just the other day I was talking to somebody that's very accomplished athlete. Is like that's what he was passionate enough about to practice, to take the time to do. I'm more passionate about art, therefore it's like whatever you're passionate enough about to take the time to work with and do every day. That's the abilities you're going to strengthen.
Oh, I agree. It's really good advice. And the other thing is, often people don't want to try something because they're not good at it. An example for me is I'm host of a talk show, and I was petrified, absolutely petrified to start. And I was terrible when I first started. Not saying I'm great now, but it was terrible. I don't know. It just took me time to feel comfortable with the process. But, it's just like learning how to play the piano. As someone who is a beautiful piano player, they didn't just sit down and be able to do that. Well, maybe the odd person like Mozart, but basically it's one key at a time, and we get better and better and we build on it. But I would agree with you, whatever your passion is out there, to the viewers, go for it. And don't worry about not being perfect, because that's a stupid concept in my opinion anyway.
Oh yeah, I know. I even still once in a while I'll finish a piece of artwork and go, no, not feeling it. And sometimes it's so bad it goes in the trash.
Oh,
yeah, I just let go of it
and
move on to something new.
It's I agree.
Yeah, we are all still learning. If we were perfect, we would no longer be here.
That's true. I absolutely believe that's true too. And so I really want to thank you very much, Susan, for being on the Quantum Guide Show today. I hope to have you back one day so we can talk further. And I really encourage the viewers to go to your website. The link is actually going to be displayed right below our screens in the finished video, but also the link will be in the description below. So I really encourage you to check out Susan Walter and her beautiful art. And of course, her website is Susan Walter Art. And check her out and see, just benefit yourselves. by looking at her images. And if you need any help in any way, I'm sure she would love to help you with your journey. Would you agree with that, Susan?
Definitely. I learned just as much as you do through the process.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again. Is there any last minute thing you want to say before we go?
No, just like I said earlier, please meditate and take care of yourselves. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining me on the show today, Susan. I look forward to another chat in the near future. I wish you all the very best. And of course, much love to you, the viewers. And we'll see you next week on the Quantum Guide Show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining us for the Quantum Guide Show. Become the change you wish to see in the world. Subscribe to Karen's YouTube channel, click the like button, and share this show with your friends. Check out Karen's website at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. All the links are available in the description box below. Until the next time, keep up the good work.
Splendor into endlessness puts all my inner strife to rest. For time gives birth to hurriedness. It all makes sense, well, more or less. And the sages put me to their test. With heart and soul to do my best to find the answers to my quest. I wonder and I must confess, I don't know where it comes from, but I know it's okay. This is all an illusion, and I'm willing to play. It's okay. It's okay.